Hi guys, Rich back with you. I wanted to take a minute today and talk about a handful of different things. I want to start with our infrastructure and how weak and unprotected it is. I recently read that like 6 or 7 days ago, some guys in Colorado went and vandalized, disturbed, whatever, the flow of natural gas. And so you had like 3,500 people who had no heat in their homes due to the eruption of gas. And that 6,000 space heaters had to be passed out by the police department to keep people from freezing to death in their own homes. If you are an adult in this country and you've never sat down and thought about alternative ways to heat your home, then you are a failure. Absolutely a failure. I don't care how you want to sugarcoat it and don't be mean to me, whatever. Okay? It is unthinkable that we have adults who have, less than 3 days worth of food in their house at any given time. That's the way they say 80% of Americans live. The fact that you have no means of an extra heat source, or you have no stored up water either in the gallon, 5 gallon, or the, packs of the little 20-ounce cases of water. It's absolutely inexcusable. Do you have car insurance? Do you have home or renter's insurance? Right? Do you have health care? So these different things, part of being an adult. If you have to, cut your TV subscription down a little bit on your cable, go with basic for a little while until you can afford to add some things to help you get by during any disruption. And it could be terrorist, it could just be a systems malfunction because equipment in America, is aging. Our pumps at our water stations and all this stuff. We're an aging society. Bridges and roads are in disrepair. What do you think all the pipelines under the ground must be like? They're garbage. They break constantly, right? So, gonna give you a few ideas. I don't like excuses on I can't. So, here's a few things. So, if you live in a house that's yours or your landlord would let you put in a wood burner, you've got $1,000 cost plus the wood burner to get all the piping and the chimney pipes and stuff and get it all set up. And then you've got the wood burner. You can pick them up used, or you could buy a new one. So you're looking at probably like $3,000 on a new system, maybe $1,500 on a used. Once you have that in, you can buy wood. You can get 3 cords for $100, and 2 cords will run you the entire winter. I used to do that when I owned a home. I bought a house. The furnace burned up in it the first 2 months I lived there. And luckily the house had a Fisher wood burner, and I heated the house the entire winter with the wood burner. Was never cold a bit. Today, I live in a leased condo. It's, I don't own it. I can't put in any type of wood burner in this. It's against the lease. But I have other alternatives. So, kerosene. You can get yourself a kerosene stove, $100. You could get yourself some kerosene to store in your garage, a shed, if you have to, in a spare bedroom closet or something, right? You can store kerosene indefinitely, never goes bad. Your average kerosene stove puts out, say, 20,000 BTUs of heat and will run about 8 hours on 2 gallons. So a 5 gallon can is going to get you about 20 hours, right? How long do you need? How big is your place? You don't have to heat your whole place either. Let's just say you're heating your living room, kitchen area during the day, and then you take your heater with you and you're heating your hallway right in front of your bedroom doors or something to heat up that section. A couple winters ago, my in-laws in Lorraine experienced that. They were without electric, so they had no heat, and the electric was down for like 3.5 days. They did an entire day and overnight in their house at 13 degrees, wrapped up in blankets when they text their daughter, we're freezing it up over here. And I was just so appalled that, grown adults could be put in such a situation. I went over there, took a kerosene heater, took some fuel, lit it for them, showed them how to refill it, how to relight it, and they were praising me for the remainder of the week. Unfortunately, they don't learn from their lesson though, and 3 years later, they still never bought their own kerosene heater, right? So the sheep are the sheep. Sometimes you can lead the sheep to water, but you can't make the sheep drink, right? Another alternative that you could do is the Mr. Buddy heaters. You buy the Mr. Buddy heater, they're like $120, and then fill up like maybe 3 of the barbecue grill propane tanks. Get the hose kit for 20 more that goes with Mr. Buddy. A 20-pound hose kit will run Mr. Buddy for it's quite a while. You can run it on high for I think like 7 days on 20 pounds. So I'd have at least 2 for whatever reason in case it goes to it too fast. But those take up very little room. You got a propane cylinder. You can leave it out on your back porch or whatever. You don't want that in your house. Keep your buddy in your closet. Power goes out. Gasoline or natural gas flow stops. There you go. You're not going to heat your whole place with one Mr. Buddy, but you definitely will be able to heat an area. You'll be able to heat, your living room, your kitchen area, your downstairs or upstairs bedrooms. So something to think about. Another thing that worked really good, I was kind of surprised. So I have a 1,600 square foot condo. We have two levels. Upstairs is the master bedroom, a bathroom, a little office area before you get in the bedroom off the top of the stairs. Downstairs you have a very large spare room, living room, kitchen. Okay. For 1 month, a year ago, I wanted to see if our electric fireplace that our TV sits on would heat the entire downstairs without the gas furnace running. So I shut off the gas furnace, turned it down to 50, shut it off, turned on the fireplace, let it go 24 hours a day for a week. Downstairs was running 72 degrees. 72 degrees in the living room, spare bedroom, kitchen, and bath. I did close our laundry room door. Upstairs was colder. It was like 52 upstairs. So I plugged in a small ceramic electric heater and it kept the whole upstairs at like 70. No problem. Wasn't even on high. It was on medium, I think. So right there is 3 alternative ways, electric being my least favorite because most of the time, electric's probably what's going to go down that's going to stop your house furnace. But, there's just no reason not to have extra ways. The internet, cell phone service went down for a large section of the country like a week ago. It was attacked by some type of cyber hit. They didn't really talk about it or make a big deal out of it. It was kind of small news, if you will. Most people just thought, something's funny going on with the phone, and 36 hours later, the problem was handled, was repaired. You might have noticed your phone was acting funny or slow during that time. I was having a hard time streaming movies on my Hulu and Amazon sticks. So there you go. You have other means of, getting up onto the grid if the internet cable goes down? Do you have a hotspot? Do you have a satellite cell phone? Those are very expensive, but they work a lot better than regular cell phones. At least they got service all the time. Do you have one of the battery jumper boxes? You get these things at Harbor Freight for $50. And not only are they great for jump starting your car if you need it, but they'll charge your cell phone and your electric hotspot if needed. You could charge a cell phone for a month off of a full charged jumper battery box for your car. Why don't you have one? Do you have water? Do you have more than 3 days worth of food? It is inexcusable not to have at least 3 months worth of food. And I don't care who you are. You can go to Aldi's or some other budgetary type of store, Save a Lot, whatever. Buy foods that you would normally eat. Buy their version of mac and cheese. Buy their version of ravioli. Buy their version of pastas, right? Get the spaghetti sauces to go with it. I don't know if you have a big extra freezer. I have a big stand-up freezer and a second refrigerator in my garage. That thing's always full. That thing's full as can be all the time. I can probably go 9 months no problem without having to go to a store. I even freeze bread. Bread will get a little hard after so long, but I have bread frozen about maybe 5 loaves at a time. So my one downfall probably is bread, but I have a bread machine and I have ingredients where I could make homemade bread. That's fun. It doesn't take nothing to store the ingredients. You don't have to go out and spend $1,000. You're all getting a $600 stimulus. Could be a good time to maybe spend it on stocking up some water and getting a secondary source of heating your home. Now, because I do have the freezers out in the garage, I don't want to lose, $2,000 worth of beef and chicken, poultry. So I have a gas power generator. That's wonderful. It's 4,200 watt, Harbor Freight, like $499. Got to have gasoline though to run it. So the fact that I have to store gasoline to make that thing run, and how much should person store? Well, I have a 55-gallon drum, and I fill it with 2 5-gallon cans. Go to the store, fill it. Next time I'm out getting gas, fill it, more. I put Stable in it. It'll stay for 2 years like that. Before the 2 years is up, I will pump it into my truck, and I will empty it. So somewhere around a year and a half, I'll pump it into my truck. It'll fill my truck up twice. Then I start refilling the barrel again. So I at least have gasoline to run my generator. And in a SHIT situation where you've got to get out of Dodge, can I roll that gasoline, that 55-gallon drum of gasoline into the back of my truck to help me get down the road farther to get away from where I live? Possibly. Might need a hand. If nothing else, I'll make sure I fill the truck, fill the 2 5-gallon cans, and take off that way. But, if you haven't sat down and thought about this, these things are just as important as having a firearm, having ammunition, and, knowing how to use your firearm and ammunition, knowing how to start a fire with your kerosene stove, and knowing how to take care of the wick on your kerosene stove. They sell little bottles of scent for kerosene. So you can pour an ounce of lilac into the kerosene fuel, and as it burns, it smells like lilacs in your house. Or there's fresh pine, or there's cashew, something winter. It's like winter cashew or something. So there's just really no excuse. You've got no excuse. Even in the smallest little apartment, you could buy a small little square kerosene heater and at least have 5 gallons of kerosene. That'd probably get you through 80% of the power down situations, right? There was a time I'd gotten divorced and I lived in a house trailer, and I heated the house trailer with two 10,000 BTU kerosene heaters. 24 hours was 3/4 of a gallon of fuel per heater. So I used 1.5 gallons of kerosene to heat my house trailer, which was a full, it was the 14 by 70 house trailer, and it heated that thing to like 74 degrees, 24 hours a day. One down in the kitchen, one down the hallway by the master bedroom, whole place 70 some degrees. The reason I did that back then, it cost me $350 a month to heat that with my propane furnace, or $60 a month running the two small kerosene stoves. It was a no-brainer, absolutely a no-brainer. I had a 55-gallon barrel on the back patio, that I kept full of kerosene all the time. I had a 5-gallon jug, and I'd go out and I'd get the kerosene and come back in and pour it in the 55, and when it was time to refill, just a rotation, if you will. But like I said, you can keep kerosene forever. I'm fortunate that I own my own small business, a little shop, and I'm able to store a lot of my stuff in there, which is true. That helps me. That's really where my 55-gallon drum of gasoline and kerosene is, instead of being at my house. But that's a 1/4 mile away from where I live. So it's an easy go out and get it, come back whenever needed. Things for you to think about, seriously. And my last thought is, do you have a, oh my God, we got to get out of here bag? So Christmas Eve, my cousin's home burnt to the ground. They live in Clarksburg, West Virginia, and their home burnt, and nothing was saved. They didn't even get their shoes. They was out of the house in the middle of the night in their pajamas, barefooted in the snow. It's so easy to have a packed duffel bag with some extra clothes and stuff in it for you and your family if you've got to haul ass out of the house. Maybe you could leave something like that in your car. Put a trash bag with some extra clothes in it for everybody in your family member and keep it in the trunk or the back of your SUV or something. They're now staying with relatives, but imagine you're out there without even shoes at 2:30 in the morning in the snow. So you have to take it upon yourself to take care of yourself and your family. No government's going to come in and save you. Look at Katrina. Look what happened to all those people. Look how long it took the government to come in. And when they did come in, all they really wanted to do was take away your firearms if you had any. That's really all they wanted. So it's up to you to take care of yourself. You need to educate yourself and move forward with a plan. If you don't have this stuff, get it. If you do have this stuff, have you used it? Have you rotated? Are you keeping it fresh? So that's my rant for the day. I hope I sparked something in you that made you think, yeah, I should do something like that too. And until next time, be safe.